Hello people! Today we're doing a set I'm calling May Flowers. And let's get started. I'm working on my own nails today. And we're going to start off with the base of the Venelisa Mud Gel. Now, as I'm putting this on here, I have already screwed up. I had intended to use white underneath where there's going to be nail foils. And I just got like happy painting my nails and forgot I was going to do that, so they all got purple on them. So we're just going to go with it because I didn't feel like either taking them off or painting over and bulking up my nails more. So I just went with it. I got myself a new gel brush, so my polish that I have to use the gel brush for is going on nice and smoothly. My other one was getting kind of trashed. Okay, that's the first coat. Let's get that hair off. Now I have cured those, and now moving on to coat number 2. Now I put a second coat on my pinky nail before I realized I'm putting foil on there and I don't need a second coat. So I don't know where my brain was at that day, you guys. I think it was out to lunch. Okay, so we are going to do a second coat purposefully on the ring finger and the index finger because those are going to be plain and left the way they are. The pinky nail did not need that. Once I get this on here, we're going to cure these. It was nice having a nice new brush to work with polishing those. Okay, we're moving on to the next step, which is the foils. And I'm going to do foil glue. Now I did have some issues with this pinky because I think I forgot to rock my hand back and forth while it was in the lamp. The foil glue was curing. I like to rock it back and forth so it cures really well along the side edges in case it has pooled up there a little bit and become thicker. So those, I cure that for 90 seconds. This is the foil I'm going to use. Now, I had 2 of my nails fully foiled before I started thinking, God, this foil seems very familiar. And I went and scrolled back through my nail pictures and realized that exactly a year ago when I did my Mayflower nails for last year, I used the exact same foil. So needless to say, I really like this foil a lot, so we're using it again. I didn't purposely intend to do that, but it is what it is, and I wasn't going to change it at that point. So, putting this on the glue, you want to let those sit for maybe 30 seconds or so when they come out of the lamp. If you try to put the foils on over top of like warm glue as it's coming out of there, they just don't work very well. So you need to let them cool down a little bit. But then you're just going to stick it on there. And while I'm thinking about it, I've picked up a handful of new subscribers lately, so welcome, people. You're going to learn a lot on my videos of what not to do because I tend to make a lot of mistakes. Not as many as I used to, but I still do dumb things, so then you get to see how to fix the mistakes if you should happen to make them. But hopefully, seeing me make mistakes, you can avoid doing them yourself. Now, those of you that have been with me for a while know what's coming next. You know what I'm going to say. Please do not rip your foils off like a Band-Aid real quick. And you'll see why in a minute, because I had issues with this one. I'm giving a lot of rubbing. I like to do a lot of extra rubbing on these. I could tell this one wasn't transferred, so you can start to see it lift away from the clear backing that the foil is on, and like see that edge over there, how you can see it's clear. You'll get a better example of that when I do the next one. But I could tell on that whole side here that it was not lifting off of the backing paper, so I knew it wasn't transferring very well, or if at all. But I will go over it again I'm just using the edge of my scissors for this. Generally, I'll use my thumbnail on for my other hand, or sometimes I'll just pick up whatever's close at hand that I know I can use to give this a good rub down. Now see how that edge, you can tell where the foil's lifting off. You can see that has transferred. Other parts of it isn't. And I'll tell you right now, there's a big areas of this one that did not transfer. So I think I put this on a little too soon before it cooled down enough. So it did not want to transfer all the way. Okay, now see how some of that's not transferred and you can still see it on the foil. Now what I will do is just lay this whole thing right back down, and everything's going to be perfectly lined up now because I didn't take it all the way off. And then I will give it some more rubbing. Now down this other side of the nail that hasn't come off of there yet, you'll see it's not going to transfer. We're going to have a chunk of it that's just not there. So something happened with the glue or something, I don't know. I want to get it off and you'll see there's going to be a big bunch missing. See that? There's a whole strip missing down there. So now, since my glue has been used, what I'm going to do is just apply a little bit more glue to that area where it was missing. You don't need a lot, just a little bit. And then we're going to cure that again for 90 seconds. And once that comes out and cools down a bit, then I'm going to have to line this back up now and try to get my stuff to match up. This can be a royal pain in the butt to do. Hence the reason I say don't take it all the way off until you're sure it's transferred. Now I didn't get this perfectly on there, and I don't think all of it got transferred, but I got most of it filled in, so I was able to save it. Frankly, I should have just taken all this foil off, stripped it back down, and started over with a new one, but I didn't. I tend to do things the hard way sometimes. So I got most of it back on there. It doesn't look the greatest, but with the undercolor, base color, with the base color under it, you don't notice as much where it's not there. I'm going to go in now and try to get some more to transfer. Now this is not lined up at all. This is not matched up with anything. I'm just taking a little bit off the side of this piece of foil so that I could get that covered. With this pattern, it didn't make that big of a difference because it didn't have to be a perfect pattern. Okay, so moving on, we're going to move on to the middle finger. Now this one went so much better because it sat there and cooled off for a good while. So you'll see the difference on how much easier this one goes on. Just make sure you get it exactly where you want it before you let any part of the foil touch your nail. Because as soon as it touches that foil glue, in that instant, it's going to pull the foil off the backing. So if it's not lined up, if it's not where you want it, you can't take it off and move it because it's already going to have some of the design transfer. So just be extra sure you know where you're putting it. Okay, now I'm going to rub this down, and you can already see how it's coming off around the edges because it's already transferred off of the backing paper to those parts where the edges are, where it's looking clear. This one worked beautifully. Didn't give me any trouble. Now I tend to rub mine a whole lot because I always end up with parts that seem like they don't want to transfer. So that's my way of just giving myself a little extra insurance that it's going to be down really well. That flower over there, I could see that it wasn't loose from the edge, so I figured part of it probably didn't transfer. Okay, now we're going to gently, just in case, but pretty much this one was good. That one transferred pretty well. I can see there's a little spot in the middle. But there we are. There's where we are so far. And I will do the rest of the transfers off camera. And now we're going in with top coat. I'm using a tempered top coat on these. Now, I had a question recently about the tempered top coat. Tempered top coat is a hard gel. Okay, it's not going to soak off. You have to file it off, or you just take your whole nail off. But it's not soakable. If you can try soaking, but what you're going to do is you're going to melt the whole base, your whole nail that you've actually done with either acrylic or poly is going to melt before you will make a dent in this hard gel. So don't even bother to soak. I like it personally because it gives it a nice hard finish and protects whatever I've got on there. Okay, we're going to cure those. And then we're going to put on just the plain ones, we're going to do a matte top. Now, I was going to do the whole set as matte, but I realized that the ones I did last year with this same foil, I matted all those. So I decided not to do it on the foil. I was leaving the foil shiny. And we're going to just matte these plain ones because crystals are going on, and here they are now. Okay, I've cured those. These are the crystals. I'm using some clear AB, some light purple, a couple of these emerald cut AB, whatever you want to call them, and caviar beads, and gem glue. Okay, we're going to put a blob of it in this part. Now, this nail had a defect down there near the free edge that I didn't like, so that's why I ended up going all the way to the bottom with these. Originally, I wasn't going to do that, but so I'm going to start off with this emerald cut one, and it is not a flat back, so it does have a back thing, and it will stick up. So as I'm putting stuff on, I'm going to, near there, I'm going to kind of shove it under that edge so it will help it to be more secure. And it will help to keep things from getting caught up under there. Nothing more annoying than having a bunch of embellishments on your nails and you do something with your hair and it gets all caught in your hair and it's just a nightmare. But I will put up with that nightmare because I just love the embellishments on there so much. I got to have my crystals. Most of the time I'm going to have some kind of crystals or something on there. Okay, I'm just kind of randomly adding the stuff on here. I wasn't going for a nice uniform swoosh or something like that. I was just going for a random splotch of stuff. It ended up being sort of kind of a straight line going down the nail, so I kind of jiggered it a little bit so it is not totally straight. It's got a little bit of some curvy to it, but I kind of did that more towards the end. And I'm doing this one all in one go. If you're not real confident or you're afraid things are going to move around, you can do the bigger ones first and cure them and then go back in and add your other ones around that. I tend to do mine, as if I can, all in one because I'm lazy like that and I don't want to have to cure it twice. And sometimes once I get them all on there, I decide I want to move things around a little bit, which if I had cured, I wouldn't be able to do. This is a little bit of a time-consuming process, but I think it's totally worth it at the end. They look so nice. I just love the sparkle of crystals on my nails. I have occasionally when I'm walking down to the mailbox and it's sunny out and I'm looking at the crystals sparkling in the sun and not watching where I'm going. One day I actually tripped over something. Hi. I get distracted by shiny things, guys. It's just the way it is. But we're just going to keep putting stuff on until I feel like I've got enough. And at some point we're going to switch over to the caviar beads and then I will start putting some of those on. Now on this one, I just put random caviar beads here and there. When we do the index finger, I'm just going to have a simple cuff on that one. That one I will put the caviar beads in between each crystal like I normally would do. But when it's a random mix of stuff like this, I don't do it that way. I just put them on, if I'm putting on crystals, I mean caviar beads, I just kind of put them in randomly where I feel like they're needed. So that is what we are doing now. We're just shoving them in here and there. Some of them always try to escape, but they never do. I always get them back. Also, pay no attention to the cuticles on my other hand. I really trashed them badly this time, you guys. You can see my thumb right there. I don't know what it is with the hand file. I just managed to trash them every single time with that. And I try to be so careful. I don't know how it always happens. Once again, I have never ever cut myself using the e-file, but the hand files, forget it. Alright, now I'm going to switch to the next size up of the caviar beads, so we can have some little bit bigger ones in there. And I'm just kind of going to put them in where I got some holes. I don't know why my camera's not focusing there, but it'll come back. There we go. And I'm going to try to shove stuff underneath the edge of that big emerald cut one that's in the center. Okay, I think we're just about... Okay, I got everything tucked in. Now I'm going to start moving things around. This is where I tried to give it a little bit more of a curvy bit, so it wasn't just a straight line going down the middle. I wasn't fully successful, but I did curve it up a little tiny bit. And we should be good, I think. Nope, I'm going to play with it a little more. And I think I'm happy with it. Or not. Okay, I think I'm adding in one more. Okay, I just added one more crystal on there. Alright, now it's going to go into cure, which I will cure that for 90 seconds. Now I forgot to hit record when I first started on this cuff, so you didn't see me putting the crystals on, but I'm going in with all the caviar beads now, and I did speed this up because, as you guys know, it takes me a while to do these. But I'm going to put a crystal in between a caviar bead in between each crystal to fill in those little gaps. And then I'll put one on the end of the line on both sides as soon as I get some more glue in there. Personally, I think the caviar beads finish off these when you're doing something like this where it's like a cuff, or something where it looks more like jewelry than just nail stuff. I like to have them in there. As I said, it fills the gaps in between the crystals and gives it a smoother edge look. And I think it just gives it more of a finished look. I just like the way it looks better. But you don't have to do the caviar beads. Okay, once I get that on and I make sure everything's tucked in nicely the way I want it, we're going to cure that one and then we're almost done. Okay, and we're going to go to cure, and now one more. Okay, this little butterfly, see right there, there's a chunk missing out of the foil that I didn't notice till I top coated. So I'm sticking this little butterfly on here, knowing full well that it's going to get knocked off or I'm going to injure myself with it because it's very sharp and pokey on the pointy parts. But there he is. I'm going to cure him. And then we'll be just about there. Okay, I'm going to go in with my matte top and I'm going to just go along these edges and clean up the gluey mess that I have made. We don't want to be seeing any of that shiny glue. Funny story with that butterfly. The day after I did these, I was doing nail trims on my cats, and one of them was trying to jump out, get away, and I went to grab him, and I got it caught on a blanket that's on the end of my chair and popped it off. I laid it on the console next to my chair while I'm continuing on with the nail trims, and after each cat's done, I give them treats. Well, the treats were on one part of the console, my butterfly was laying on the other part, and my one cat scarfed up those treats. He didn't even chew them. He like sucked them up like a vacuum, along with my butterfly that was there. I could not believe it. I was shocked that he would do that. Okay, we're just going to clean up the glue I got on my finger everywhere. I'm still amazed that he could not have chewed that. He had to have swallowed it. I can't believe he didn't choke. But anyway, here we are with the finished set. Nail drama and cat drama. I really like how they came out. I hope you guys like them. If you do, please give me a like. I really appreciate it, and it helps me out a whole lot. And if you want to see more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I do upload a new tutorial every Saturday. And that's about all I got for you this time. Have a good Mother's Day weekend, guys. There's my picture. We'll have one more shot of the thumb. And that's it. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.